Hey, brown babes. Akila here. Just wanted to let you know that this week's episode is going to be a favorite. We call these the classic, well, honestly, episodes. It is a repeat, but I think it's chock full of information for you all to absorb again. We will see you in new episodes in the future. Bye.
Hey, brown beauties. Welcome to Well, Honestly, the podcast. I'm ANDRETTA.
And I'm Akila, and we're your hosts. Well, honestly, what is this podcast all about?
Our show is about women doing better tomorrow than they are doing today, so we can take control of our health. We give you real talk and educate you on all things related to health, mental wellness, and nutrition for brown women all over the world. Once you know what choices you have, you can do better, because we know the struggle is real.
We invite you to come as you are, but leave inspired to become your best healthy self. So let's get started.
Hey, Akila.
Hey, ANDRETTA, how are you?
I am good. For our audience, I thought I would let them know that I can see you on the computer, and but we're talking in two separate locations. But what's funny, and the reason I'm telling the audience that is because she's in Houston, Texas, and I'm in Chicago. And I'm watching her, looking at her in Houston. She's been bragging about the weather, telling me, she'll tell me it's 70 degrees here. And then I'll go, oh, it's only like 20 here. And then she'll say, oh, it's 71 here. I'll say, what's the temperature, Keela? Oh, it's great. Oh, we're going to 80 today. But the reason I'm telling you this audience today is because today we're broadcasting and I'm looking at her and she has on a fur. She's wrapped around in fur as if it's cold. And
it's freezing.
What is the temperature in Houston today?
Well, since you want to start the episode with hate, we can go ahead and do that. That's not a problem at all. It is 21 degrees today. However, it is snowing. It has snowed.
And for Houston, snow is what? An anomaly?
It's not even heard of. They haven't had snow like this in a decade. And the thing about it is this, right? It's the South. So they don't know how to operate with snow. They put sand down instead of salt.
Did you say sand?
Sand. That's all they have is sand.
Sand?
Yeah.
I'm in Chicago. So we don't know nothing about sand.
So the thought process is they want to slow the cars down, because that's all that they can do if you're trying to speed under black ice, because you can't tell. And they don't know anything about black ice out here. They also don't know how to slow down out here. They also don't know how to drive out here. So when you add all these elements, it's a recipe for disaster.
All the Houstonians that are listening, we got quite a few Houstonians out here.
Well, they will, if they're honest with themselves, then they will be in agreement with me. They can't drive. Ooh. So they put sand down. So they told us not to leave the house until about Wednesday.
That's funny. That's hilarious. We would kill for 20 degrees right now. We were minus. When I woke up this morning, it was 1 degree. 1. Do you understand me?
1 degree.
1. I had never seen a 1 before on my phone.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
So is it sunny?
No. Actually, it's a gloomy day now. Yeah, it's a gloomy day and it's snow everywhere. But anyway, enough about that. Today. I don't want to hear all of that. That's enough about That's enough about the weather. Let's talk about today's episode.
All right.
We've got a special guest sitting in our chair today. Yes, we do. We have Coach Payne. And for those of you who have never heard of Coach Payne, all you got to do is go to your YouTube video and look up his motivational speech called When It Hurts. I believe it has how many viewers? You've seen?
Over 7 million views.
7 million viewers. That is amazing. So we are excited to talk to him today. He's one of the top fitness trainers in the world. He will share his very interesting story on how he became one of the top motivational speakers. So we can't wait to talk to him a little later in our episode. So what are we loving this week, Akila?
Well, let's see. What am I loving this week? I actually am loving, it's a juice company that you put me on, actually. And they're called Juice from the Raw. And These juices come to you fully prepared already. They come frozen, and you can do 3-day, 10-day, 14-day, however many days you want. They come really quick. These juices taste amazing, and there are no added ingredients. So it's almost just like okay. So when I moved to Houston, I broke my I didn't break my juicer. In the move, my juicer broke, and I haven't replaced it yet. And I'm a sucker for juicing. I juice a lot. I go on my phases. And I can go to the local store, the local, little juice places and all that. And I do, but I
It's got to
don't
be
really like to
expensive
get
though,
their
huh?
juices. They get very expensive. So I stick to what I stick to with that. But Andretta put me onto this company, and I think for a 10-day, it's a 10-day juice fast. Now you can do it how you want to. I'm not fasting, but to drink a juice a day, I have like 30 juices in this 10-day juice fast. It costs maybe like 100, and I want to say it was like $50, $60, and that's with free shipping, which if you think about the cost of what it would cost you to actually juice or to go to a juicer every day, a health food store every day and get a juice, it probably will equal out, if not more.
Well,
So
and
I'm loving
the
this.
other problem with juicing is you have to clean up the mess afterwards. I get a little lazy sometimes, and when I love juicing, but sometimes I get a little lazy. I don't want to clean up the mess afterwards. So having them, I think they come frozen to you, right? They're delivered
They come
frozen to your
they come
door.
frozen. So they juice them fresh and then they freeze it so that it can come to you in the best quality. And then you put it in the freezer, and then the day before you take out whatever juices you want to use to juice. And it just unthaws naturally, and it tastes amazing.
We'll have to
And they
put
don't
that
have any additive ingredients or anything like that. I highly recommend them.
So we'll have to put that in our show notes, correct? So people will know where to buy
Yes,
that.
yes, we will definitely put that in there. What are you loving this week, Andretta?
I am loving triggers. Excuse me. We
Who
are
loves a trigger now?
we're studying triggers in my functional medicine class, and
Okay.
so triggers are anything that provokes symptoms, like an emergency or something like that. Everyone has a trigger, so it caused me to think about my own triggers. And one that I can remember very vividly is the death of my mother in 2012. This is usually a trigger for most people, but you have to be aware that it's a trigger. And for me, I'm from the I'm fine family. What that means is every time you would ask somebody in my family how they were doing, they would say, I'm fine. Whether they were fine or not, we would automatically say, I'm fine. So one of the triggers that I found was this event rather triggered me, and it could have been less triggering for me if I had recognized it as a trigger. So triggers are important to acknowledge, and they help you to know. I mean, it helped me. I would have did more self-care had I known it was going to be such a trigger. So some triggers can cause health challenges. And for me, it did just the opposite. Something good eventually came out of it, one being focused on my own health. So recognizing triggers is what I'm loving this week. Everybody's got a trigger. So I'm glad that I recognize my triggers. But
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we would love a trigger.
well, it
I
only
don't
loving
know.
the recognition of one, just knowing that that's what is triggering something in you.
Yeah,
That's what I
I
mean.
think recognizing your triggers is something that is key. I was talking to a therapist not too long ago about triggers, and at some point, getting past what triggers you is the goal. So first knowing what triggers you, and then after a while, not becoming triggered is
Exactly.
like the ultimate goal. Um, I'll tell you this: I had some gluten over the weekend.
Is that a trigger for you?
Yes. And so, because listen, I just moved to a new state, y'all. Like the food here, it's not Chicago food. We have superior food. To me, no one can beat us. Maybe New York comes a close second. So I'm trying my hand in different things. And some things I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stay away from that completely because I know. But then other things sneak up on you. So I've been having triggers all weekend of just gluten intolerance. But I knew going into it that was probably gonna happen. So when my body started to do the thing that it does, I said, okay, Let's not freak out. You know, you just did that to yourself on purpose. And here's the triggers that's telling you, okay, you need to stop. So
Well,
I do agree. Knowing your triggers is key. And it is something that, you know, I do love to know. Like, why do I feel that way? Oh, okay.
it's
It's
a
because I
trigger,
did X, Y,
right?
Z.
Yeah,
Yes.
that gun trigger is something else. Anyway, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to interview Coach Payne.
All
Be
right.
right back. Are you tired of being tired? Are you aching, have pain in unexplained places? At the root of all diseases like diabetes and high blood pressure and many more is chronic inflammation. There are 10 wild-crafted organic hand-picked herbs in the Be Well anti-inflammation tea that will help calm those flames. Go to brownwomenwellness.com and get 15% off by putting in the code WellHonest15. Well, we're back.
All right.
We're back. So let me talk a little bit about Coach Payne. This is special to me, and I'll tell you guys why after a while. But let's talk a little bit about Coach Payne and who he is. He started in the fitness industry at 8 years old. Can you believe that? 8.
8.
Yes,
I'm very curious as to know how that happened.
Well, we can ask him about it. He also got involved in martial arts and wrestling and football in high school. So he's had a 26-year career of fitness. And his career really became passionate, and he recognized this. And this was, I guess you could say, this was triggered for him after the death of his mother. He wanted to make his mom very proud and was motivated to help others to serve others. He wanted to understand his life work a little better. Then his father became his anchor, but then passed on soon after, causing him to redefine his purpose even more. He helps clients to move toward their future instead of dwelling on their past. He's worked as a Spartan SGX trainer, Battle Frog events, and OCR World Championships, which we're going to ask him what all this means. He also has one of the top motivational videos on YouTube called When It Hurts. And he has been able to take a painful situation and turn them into positive situations and grow from them. We want to welcome Coach Payne. Coach Payne, are you there?
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
We're
good. How are
great.
you?
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm above ground, not under it.
Oh, great.
That ain't that the truth.
Coach Payne, you guys, he and I are Facebook friends, and we motivate each other, don't we?
All the time.
All the time. So tell the audience about your journey in your own words. You know, where you are today. You know, I knew you in Chicago. I was one of his first personal training students, guys. But tell us about you.
We got some history.
We got history.
A young pup back in those days.
I remember it very well.
I guess you could say, I mean, I know you mentioned I was about 8 years old. I guess you could say I was very ambitious in the fitness world, even at the age of 8. I was always active, even as a young child. Got into the industry officially at the age of 18. And from there, it just never stopped. As far as in the martial arts and things like that, I was inspired to get into that. When my mom was she was a black belt. I'm sorry, not a black belt. She was a brown belt back in her heyday. And I started off at the age of 16 and started with Taekwondo and then got into some other forms of martial arts. But I didn't necessarily use that as something that I really, really was driving to get into. I just used it as another form of activity. Overall, I enjoyed just being active, period. I did everything, as you indicated, play sports, or wrestle, football, and things of that nature. So I've always believed that I wanted to stay active throughout my entire life. Now at the age of 48, I'm still in pretty good shape, even at my age. And I just
Pretty
realized,
good. Oh, you guys should see. I wish the audience could see pictures of it. He's being very modest, by the way.
Good shape,
He
actually.
is being very, very modest.
Very modest.
no,
I like that. But look, we're going to put some respect on your name. You're in great shape.
No, I'm very modest. I'm very modest. I try not to. I don't get too wrapped up in it. I think because the industry has changed so much And for me,
Mm-hmm.
as I grew in the industry and moved on and saw how it evolved and what it's become now based on what it was then, and like everything in life, everything changes, everything evolves. But I never lost the drive and determination and the principles of health and wellness. And I think that's one of the things that inspired me. Now, of course, what got me over the hump a little bit more on the motivational speaking side, it literally, I didn't know I had any of that in me until I did lose my mom, because it was obviously something that I had in me, because the fitness side, I was already, to some people, inspiring and driven and at most times intimidating to some people because of my direct approach in fitness. I did have a very militant demeanor in how I approached the industry. I didn't believe in the, as you like to call it, the superficial way of getting people healthy. And even now, the superficial way seems to be very commercialized, and people seem to buy more into the look rather than the whole idea of longevity. And I
Mm-hmm.
call it lifestyle, not survival. Because, like the jungle, I used to give some of my clients that I physically work with, what is the most important factor in the jungle? What is the number one law in the jungle is to survive. And we don't
Yeah.
do in our world. Humans are so, I hate to use the term, but I'll say it bluntly, humans are very lazy. Everything is convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has to be in your face. Nobody wants to walk. I remember when I was in school, I had to walk to school, and not a couple of blocks. It was like blizzard cold outside back in the Chicago area, and we had to walk to school. There were no school buses and things like that, especially if your school was only, 2 or 3 blocks away, or a mile or two away. So it's changed dramatically. Now, of course, as I said before, things change, society's changed, the mentality has changed. And in my personal opinion, everything is convenient. And what that means to
Y-
me, and again, I say this not out of disrespect, but to me, convenient means lazy. That's just another form of lazy, in my opinion. I don't
Mm-hmm.
like drive-throughs, but I've used drive-throughs. Some people have had asked them questions, why do you use a drive-through? Because it's convenient. It's convenient. Everything's convenient. We live in an
Yeah.
industrial society, but we've gotten away from what's wrong with parking further down the parking lot. Why do I have to park directly in front of the door? Things like that. Why do I have to go through a McDonald's drive-through when I can actually get out of the vehicle? Because if you notice, the drive-throughs are more uh, busier than actual people going into the store.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things have transpired in my life as this journey of fitness. As I said before, because I knew at a young age, I knew one day if God would give me life and I lived to see it, I was going to get older.
The question I have is, you spoke about laziness and you spoke about, everything being convenient, which is absolutely true. There are some people who can see that. They can see the conditioning that's being placed and they're falling into it, but they don't necessarily know how to break the convenience train that they're on. What would be some of the things that you would advise people to do to not get stuck in such a convenient, heavy lifestyle?
My answer to that is stop being lazy and stop looking for the easy way out. People are going to get defensive about that because they're going to always try to find a. So you got to remember how excuses work. Excuses is a teddy bear to people. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel that, hey, I have a reason why I can't do X, Y, Z. Well, let's think about it for a minute. Let's talk about the jungle once again. In the jungle, there are no rules. There's only one law: survive or live. And if you're the
mhm.
type of person that thinks nothing can happen to you, or you don't feel that somebody can rob you, steal from you, or maybe take your life, and you're not genuinely prepared for that, then guess what? You're going to be meeting the Creator real soon. So we have to have a warrior mentality. We have to have a defense mechanism always ready to go. We have to train our minds to be ready to fight and be ready for whatever may come. Stay ready. Don't get ready. Don't get comfortable. Don't be comfortable. Make yourself uncomfortable. Don't be lazy. People don't want to hear that, but that's what it is. Let's look at our society today.
Yes, I've seen you, some of your training videos. I'd be feeling sorry for some of the people that I see them, and I feel their pain.
But they want that. Everybody doesn't want that. But I've had people tell me often, Coach, what are you training these people? And I always come back to two things. Number one, I don't work in a circus. I'm not training these people. I'm preparing them for a life. And that's what it is. It's not a training anything. There's a life. This is a life lesson. Okay? And if you get into the mindset, like for example, okay, going back to superficial fitness, oh, I wish I had a body like hers, or I wish I had a body like him. And I always come back to people, why do you want to look like somebody else? Be the best of yourself. Because if it was meant for you to be that person, you be that person. Don't live your life pretending to be something you're not. Don't live your life looking at someone else to save you. Save yourself. Make your own decisions in life. Save yourself. Look to people for inspiration, but save yourself. Stop making excuses and save yourself. Because excuses doesn't care about you. It doesn't love you. It doesn't want you to succeed. It wants you to die. That's what excuses wants to do. So when you start to notice how things are right now, and this may hit a nerve, but let's look at the pandemic. The majority of the people right now that are sick are dying is because of other health issues. This virus is for real. There's no question. And people are dying from it. And we should take this virus very serious. But ask yourself, there are most people that are sick or whatever the situation is because they have other ailments that are occurring or have occurred. And now all of these bad things are happening. And now you're saying, I need to go do this or I need to do that. Why do you need to go get a prescription? Why do you have to depend on your doctor to give you medication for high blood pressure? Most of the high blood pressure issues that we have, especially in the Black community, is because of how we eat and what we were raised on. But I'm not going to sit here and make an excuse and say, well, that's what I had to eat when I was a kid. Well, you're not a kid anymore. You're an adult. You're grown. Make a decision and move on.
One other question I had for you was, if you had to share one healthy tip, just one thing you do every day, or you would share with our audience, what would that healthy tip be?
Live your life, man. Stop being stressful and get up and be thankful that the good Lord gave you life and go about your day. There is no, look, the only plan I have is attack the day. Go after it, man. Go to work. Do your thing. I don't like my job. Well, guess what? Somebody don't have a job. I don't feel like getting up in the morning. Well, guess what? Somebody didn't wake up this morning, but you did. Do something with your life. There's no strategy. Go to work and move. Conduct your business and live your life because you only got a second to breathe.
Absolutely. Let me ask you a question because you're no longer in the Chicagoland area. Where are you?
No, I'm in Arizona.
You're in Arizona. Okay, so what we always ask, what's the weather like in Arizona right now? Make us feel jealous.
I don't like the heat. I think it's unbearably hot in the summer. I think the summers here are like the winters in Chicago. Okay. But I will say, when it gets cold here, most of the people here can't take it. I laugh at it. I'm like, dude, this ain't cold. Y'all don't know cold.
Right. That's
Y'all don't have clue about cold. It's 50 degrees here. They think it's 0 degrees. Anything under 75 to most of the Arizonans is just downright cold. I'm like, are you serious?
So, Coach Payne, so there are a lot of motivational speakers or a lot of people who give the same advice, which is pretty much not even advice. It's just fact, right? And some people, they need to hear it in certain kind of ways. I get the feeling that you don't take the approach of putting the medicine in the candy. Am I correct on that?
I think you're absolutely correct because I don't have time to sugarcoat anything. You have to understand, children are children and they're kids, and children are going to do things. They're going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes, even as an adult. But when you become a man or a woman, you have got to know in your mind that, hey, I don't have much time and I have to get serious about living my life. I mean, even young children pass away. Don't get me wrong, but when you're a kid or you're a young adult, you don't think about death. You don't think about dying. You go out there and you enjoy your life. But as you get older, you start to get wiser. At least that's what they say. But most people just tend to go about their day and they don't have a care in the world. But the truth is, we should always be concerned about the present. I can't worry about tomorrow because tomorrow is not worried about me. I can't worry about yesterday because yesterday ain't got nothing to do with me. I need to focus on now, right now.
Okay. All right. Love it.
Where's the book, Coach Payne?
The what?
Is there a book?
I wish. I've got to that
I
point.
mean, because there needs to be something here. Ebook, audiobook, something.
Yeah, he said, go to YouTube.
Honestly.
Go to YouTube. You can find everything about it.
I got an album out. When It Hurts album is out. You can download my motivational speeches on Spotify. It's for free.
Nice.
It's called When It Hurts on Spotify. It's an actual album that's doing really good right now. To be honest, like I said, I'm a very modest person. Recently, I just did a video called My Pain is My Passion. And it does talk a little bit about losing my parents and how I had to endure the loss to get a victory. The problem is with us as individuals, some of us as humans, is that we forget that the struggle is just as important as the victory. There can be no victory without struggle. You have to hurt so that you can grow. You have to feel something to get something. No one owes you anything. Most of these people out here that are so privileged right now, they don't know what pain is. They don't know what loss is. They don't know what suffering is. While you're reaping and wondering why everybody is succeeding and you're sitting at the back of the bus, is because you're too busy worrying about what other people are doing. And you need to be doing what you need to do. So stop dwelling on what other people are doing and do what you need to do and get the job done.
All right. Okay. This is great.
I don't know about you, Andretta, but I'm ready to, I don't know.
Did he just motivate you?
Go for a 5-mile sprint. Listen, how can you not want to attack life once you hear something like that?
There's nothing else you can do. And there are amazing speakers out there. I'm a nobody in the world. I mean, you got Tony Robbins, you got David Goggins, you got E.T. The list goes on and on. Amazing speakers out there. And I'm a little guy. And everybody always come back and say, hey, you're one, you're this, you're that. And all I come back to the common denominator is that I thank God for the voice. I thank God for the message. I thank God for the presence. I thank God for the life. I don't know what he's going to do with my life, but my life belongs to him and I'm just passing through. So whatever he got for me is what's going to be for me. And no man or woman under the sun can stop it. Whatever he's going to do, he's going to do. But he didn't tell me to be a fool. He said, son, live your life. Trust in me, believe in me, and go about your day. But don't put your faith in fear. Don't put your faith in man. Live your life. Keep looking up. And keep doing what you got to do, and I'll be right there by your side. When you lose faith, you lose your victory.
I love it. Love it.
You lose your victory. That's all I.
That the word that stuck out to me is don't put your faith in fear. That's a word.
Yes, he's passed a lot of great gems here today, and our audience, I'm sure, excuse me, are loving it. I wanted to ask you one last question too about the Battle Frog events and some of I know you've been participating in a lot of events lately. Tell us a little bit about them. What are they exactly? Are you still participating in those events? Hello? Did we lose you? Hello? I think we lost him again.
Hello? Can you hear me?
There you are. Okay.
There we
go. Okay, you're back. Did you hear my question?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear
about
you.
The Battle Frog and all the things you mentioned. The thing about that is that those are obstacle course races. Those are races for the masses. It's from people ages 10 or to 80 years old. And what these races were about is just testing yourself on a physical manner. Obstacle racing kind of, in my opinion, is based on military obstacles of 6-foot walls, 8-foot walls, rope climbs, getting in the mud, just testing your mental and physical abilities. And I was very much intrigued by it because I enjoyed the fact of seeing just what the human mindset and physical set could do on that level. Now, it has, of course, become very commercialized, and it's definitely making millions, not thousands, but millions of dollars. And it's going to be around for quite some time. And I respect the fact of how the OCR community has done so much for many people on many different levels. So I was brought in as a voice, as a person who inspired the masses by inspiring them with words of encouragement, motivation, being able to get them to run the best race of their lives while at the starting gate. So I was more, as you might want to call it, a ringleader, or someone that, hey, the show must go on kind of person, or let the show begin, or, get ready to rumble kind of guy, like you watch at the boxing matches. That was Coach Payne. That is
Perfect.
what really triggered everything to where I am today. And to this day, people have always been admired by my approach and the voice and the motivation and how I spoke from my heart, because I don't do scripts. I'm not an actor. Actors act. They get paid to act. If you want me to act, then pay me an actor's salary. If not,
I hear
let
you.
me be who I am.
Yeah, that's but you know what? You're really still the same person that the
I
first
never
time I
changed.
met you. You never
I never
changed.
changed.
No,
I never
no,
changed.
no. You were kicking butt back then,
I know.
So,
Nobody
so
told
you
me though. Nobody. Listen, I try not to, and I use the word try loosely here. I I I don't understand. You have to know people. See, here's the thing I've always been taught. It's not about what you know. It's about who knows you.
hmm
Okay.
Mhm.
Because people are so unique. Like I always wonder to myself, what is it going to take for the world to hear my voice? And it's a big planet, and I don't know if I'll ever get there. But believe me when I tell you, I'm doing all in my power so people can, and everybody's not going to like you. I tell people this all the time. If you live your life thinking that everybody's going to love you, if Jesus Christ came from heaven right now, stood by your side and said, hey, son, everybody didn't like me either. They still crucified me. They still nailed me to the cross. No matter how good you are, no matter how great you think you are, somebody always going to nail you to the cross. So all you can
Mhm.
do is keep the faith, give it to the Father, and pray that he'll put you through and you prosper with the gifts that he's instilled in you.
powerful words. Those are very powerful words.
I mean, honestly, we want to thank you so much for
My
your
pleasure.
time, Coach Payne. Tell the people where they can find you.
Sure. They can check me out on Instagram. Instagram is coach_Payne, Pain. There's a lot more physical and some motivational stuff I do there. You can also go to my YouTube channel, Coach Payne. Um, you could just definitely find me on there. And then I have a public figure page on Facebook called Coach Payne. Again, Pain. And then last but not least, my website is www.coachpayne.net. And finally, Coach Payne Academy. You can also look me up on that as well on Facebook if you choose to do that. Other than that, that's the best ways to see what I'm doing. Keep track of what I'm doing, and hopefully there's some physical and mental information that I could put out there for people to see.
Oh,
Now, Coach Payne, what we do, and we're going to have you do it for us. We always ask, or we always tell our audience, what is our honesty moment for the week? And typically our honesty moment for the week is just something that we are honestly either going through, something that we are honestly doing. It could be anything. So your honesty moment for the past few days, because the week just started, but last week, for instance, what would be like an honesty moment for you?
Honestly, moment for me is just getting through what we're dealing with in this day and era. Like, I would honestly say that I am tired of seeing fear. That's honest. That's the honest truth. Like, what happened to our faith? I know people have their beliefs and things, and I understand that. But for me, honestly, I'm just tired of fear. I'm tired of people being afraid. I'm tired of people running for the hills. Stand your ground, man. Look up. Look up. Stop looking down. Stop with the pity party. Look up. That's the honest opinion. That's the honest truth. If you're alive, fight. That's honesty. Fight.
I love it. I love
There
it.
you
Love it.
have
Love
it.
it. I mean, that pretty much wraps it up, right?
It does. Thank you so much, Coach Payne, for your time.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Sorry
This is
about
going to
that.
bless a lot of people.
And, hopefully, you guys got some good information for your audience.
We
Oh,
did. We did. We
we
did. This is going to
absolutely
bless a lot
did.
of people.
Yeah, you blessed a lot of people today. And we appreciate, again, your coming on to us on our
My
podcast. And we're going to take one more sponsorship break, and then we're going to come back with our last little segment, and we'll be out.
We'll be done.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you again.
Well, you guys have a great day. Thank you.
You do the
You
same.
too.
Bye-bye.
Feeling stressed? Need to calm your anxiety naturally? Be Well CBD tea can do just that. Hand-picked organic herbs infused with CBD will relax you and calm those nerves. Go to brownwomenwellness.com and get your 15% off. Use this code WellHonest15.
All right. So we're back and we're going to wrap up our episode. But before we do, Andretta,
You want to know what I'm
would be
loving
your
this
honesty?
week?
I want to know your honesty moment.
Oh, my honesty moment. That's right.
Yeah, you told us you love triggers earlier. So
I do, but I mean, I don't love triggers. You know, triggers are something that just happened. I actually had another trigger last week, but it would I say I love it? No, I wouldn't say I love it. But I'll tell you my honesty moment. I am sick and tired of the snow. I am looking. I've been in Chicago 30, how old are you, Keela? However old you are is how long I've been in Chicago.
34.
She's 34. So I've been in Chicago 34 years. And I've been very fortunate not to see this much snow in 34 years. It has snowed every day. I mean, every day. Usually we'll get some snow, then it'll stop. And then we'll say, okay, that passed. But right now it's a continuous thing. And I'm not here for that. So honestly, I'm ready for some sunshine.
Ready for spring.
I'm ready for spring. I'm ready to get on somebody's airplane and hop. Right now, Houston would look really good to me. Just
I
so
bet
you
it
know.
would. It's a beautiful day. It is it's just cold.
That's my honesty moment. I'm sick of the snow. What about you, Keela?
My honesty moment for this week. I have been slightly overwhelmed within the last week or so because I'm back to the juggling of I have a 9-to-5 and I have 2 businesses on top of side hustles that I'm trying to create to bring in money, right? So I've noticed that mentally I cannot keep still. It's funny because when we podcast is when I'm like able to be present, but I find myself not being present a lot in a lot of things that I do because my mind is 2 steps ahead in this direction, 2 steps ahead in that direction. And I have a lot pulling on me as well as my own self. And it's been tough these last couple of weeks, honestly speaking. And typically when that happens, what I end up doing is I just end up just stopping everything or pulling all the way back because at that point I'm running on fumes and I can't even give, creatively speaking, I can't even give mentally speaking if I'm on fumes. So pulling back has been a struggle because it's just like, why would you do that when you have so many things that needs to get done? But I'm doing the best that I can. When you're trying to create something, I think everybody out there can understand that when you're trying to create something, 9 times out of 10, you really want that thing to succeed. And when it's slow moving, you can get stuck. So I've been dealing, but
well, self-care is important. Make sure you take care and do some self-care so you we can't afford a burnout. So
yeah, I'm trying not to get there. I take my baths and I, luxuriate, if that's the word.
That's one of the things baths is one of the things that I love. If we want to talk about what are we loving this week.
and I work out when I can. And even then, it's just an uphill battle. And sometimes certain weeks are going to be tougher than others. So it's just a storm that I've learned to ride out.
Okay. All right. Well, that was pretty honest. The one last thing before we leave, I want to find out what we're loving this week. I have something I want to share. Of what I'm really loving this week. And I gave it a nickname. It's not my real name, but I had someone in our private Facebook group, Brown Women Wellness. Brown Women Wellness, in case and we'll have to remember this, that Brown Women Wellness is the catalyst and the sponsor behind everything.
Let me pause Ma, we already talked about what we were loving this week earlier. I think you want to save this for the next episode.
Not really, but okay. Okay.
Well, we did loving this. That's why when you said triggers, I said, are you sure you want to, that's why I said, you sure you want to put that up there?
Actually, my trigger was, it sure did. I have it in here twice. You're absolutely right. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I did twice, Brian. You're going to have a lot of editing to do on this one.
I was going to let you keep going, but it just, that would have been like, let's not waste that time.
We can stop it. I'm going to stop it and let Brian do his outro because he got some editing to do.
Let's clean it up. So that's this week's episode. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you guys, and I want to mention this, I'm going to continue to mention this as we go forward. But if you guys want to be featured in the podcast, if you have a question, if you want to let us know how good we're doing, if you just want to get something off your chest or whatever the case may be, you guys can go to our website, brownwomenwellness.com. There is a blue icon at the bottom left-hand screen, and that is a place where you can actually click on and record your voice. So record your question, record your honesty moment if you have one to share, record your wins, and you will be featured on one of our podcasts coming up.
That's great. I'm glad you reminded them. And what about if they wanted to email us? How can they email us?
You can find us at hello@willhonestlypodcast.com. That's hello@willhonestlypodcast.com.
Okay, very good. Well, let's wrap it up.
All right. We'll talk to you guys next week. Bye. Thank you for listening to Well Honestly, the podcast. If you want to know more about us and our products, check us out over on our website at brownwomenwellness.com. And remember, ladies, we are not doctors, and any information shared by us is not medical advice. Always follow your doctor's advice.
And don't forget to rate and review our podcast and let us know what you loved about this week's episode. And please subscribe to wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Feel free to email us and let us know what you would like to hear more of from us. Don't be afraid to say hi. We'll say hi right back to you.
Don't forget to find us across all social platforms at Brown Women Wellness. As always, show notes with the links to what we talked about today in this week's episode will be in the description box below. Thanks for listening.